returns to the MLS Cup final with an upset in Atlanta. And a franchise first as the Washington Nationals are World Series champions.
Welcome to SportsCenter and happy Halloween.
Yes.
I'm Kara, this is Lindsay, and I don't know that it was a spooky night in sports, but it was a really fun night in sports. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to start with the Eastern Conference Final in MLS between TFC and Atlanta United, and it was almost as though the deck was stacked against TFC coming into this one. Atlanta, the defending Cup final champions. They're a really good team at home.
Oh, yeah.
TFC coming in as underdogs, and no Omar Gonzalez, no Josie Altidore for this one.
This was a monumental match, and you mentioned those omissions, and that's why this was so huge for the Reds, because they have been proving people wrong time and time again as they got to the Eastern Conference Final. As Kara mentioned, it is the two most recent MLS Cup champions facing off. Josie Altidore out for this one, still recovering with an injury. But just 4 minutes in, the ball sent behind Michael Bradley. Pity Martinez just stays on side, and Julian Gressel on the receiving end scores his second postseason goal. Now, on second look here, Bradley maybe tried to bait Martinez into an offside position. That is the fastest goal in Atlanta United playoff history. It is 1-0 Atlanta. Now it's time for your favorite, the good old TSN turning point. Just after the opening goal, 8th minute, the ball sent ahead to Martinez. Bradley gets back into the play. Martinez goes down as Bradley is given a yellow card on the play. Now, Joseph Martinez scored 27 goals in the regular season and a chance to go up 2-0 from the spot.
Martinez against Westberg. And Martinez denied by Quentin Westberg. And TFC breathing a huge sigh of relief.
And just 3 minutes later, TFC is looking for the equalizer.
Jumps high and then wakes on the goalkeeper, but it was a bit more conventional from him. Changed it up, tried to outfox Westberg.
This is Benazet! TFC on level! Brilliance from Nicolas Benazet, the Frenchman. And a huge twist in this one early on in Atlanta.
Nicolas Benezet's first postseason goal as Atlanta United's home playoff shutout streak is snapped at 419 minutes. Now, neither of these teams have ever lost an Eastern Conference final, and we are tied at half. It was a nail-biter, folks. 54th minute now. Benazet subbed out for Nick DeLeon. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist in his last 3 playoff substitution appearances. Could he be the hero?
Nick DeLeon, no way through as he's turned around. And DeLeon from distance! Oh my goodness! Nick DeLeon picks out the top corner, and Toronto FC lead in the Eastern Conference Final with 13 minutes left to play.
It is DeLeon's 6th career postseason goal, and it is a huge one. Now, TFC scored 17 goals in the final 15 minutes of a match in a regular season. That was second best in the MLS. But Atlanta, they were pressing in stoppage time. Quentin Westberg making another massive stop in front. He made 4 saves in this one. And now let's go to the 9 seconds. And here is the final call of the match.
Absolutely insane.
Toronto FC are Eastern Conference champions. They are headed to MLS Cup for the 3rd time in 4 years. A familiar foe awaits for Greg Vanny's team, this time on enemy territory. Tonight,
the reigning MLS Cup champions eliminated on home turf, as TFC is the first team since 2008 to win back-to-back road playoff matches, and they will go on to face the Seattle Sounders in the final.
You scored a special goal against DC. I would say this one was probably even better.
I would rank that above it, yeah, for sure. A bigger moment, and it means a lot more to me, that's for sure.
Talk of spirit, Nick, when you received it. When did you believe that you're going to look up and take the shot?
I actually meant to hit it first time, but I botched my touch and then improvised.
I had a small idea of where I was going to go.
Was it something you saw, though, in the run that made you go that way?
It's something I saw, yeah. Something I felt, mostly. It's all instinct, you know. I haven't been really lucky with PKs this year, but I'm just happy I'm just happy it worked this way.
We were missing a couple guys, but the group of guys that were out there that nobody outside of our club thought could maybe get it done except for our fans and us.
That is right. Just a massive victory for the Reds as TFC extends its unbeaten streak to 13 games now. That is a new franchise record. They have 7 wins in that span, with 3 of them coming on the road. And TFC now making their 3rd MLS Cup appearance. That is the 5th most appearances by a club all time. Thank you, gentlemen. Yes, an impressive streak, and TFC looks to keep rolling as they take on Seattle in the MLS Cup. It is a rematch of both the 2016 and 2017 finals. Marking your calendars, Sunday, November 10th, beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern, at noon Pacific on TSN.
All right, let's get to the Fall Classic now, where after the Astros dropped the first 2 games of the series at home, I don't think anyone saw this series making its way back to Houston. But after the Nationals lost 3 games in Washington, back to Minute Maid we went. And now in the winner-take-all, the Nationals are going to Max Scherzer, who was unable to move just 2 days ago, while Zach Greinke, who has been by far the most hittable of Houston's big 3, had the ball for the Astros. It was the 40th winner-take-all game in World Series history. Max Scherzer getting the call for Washington after being scratched in Game 5 due to neck spasms. Yuli Gurriel facing Scherzer in the 2nd.
Here's 2-1. That's well hit in the left. Back at the wall. It is gone. Gurriel and the Astros strike first in Game 7.
Gurriel with the solo shot, the team that scores first, 25-14 all-time in winner-take-all World Series games. The Astros threatening, looking for more against Scherzer in the 2nd with 2 runners in scoring position. George Springer lines one into left. Juan Soto makes the nice catch to get Scherzer out of the inning, giving up just the 1 run. Meanwhile, Zach Greinke get the start for Houston. The first ever matchup between 2 former Cy Young Award winners in Game 7 of a World Series. Top of 4, Trey Turner
shakes off Chirinos twice.
grounds one back to the mound. Greinke making the nice play to retire Turner. Then the next batter is Adam Eaton. He's going to go right up the gut. Again, Greinke there to field the comebacker, showing why he was or has won 5 straight Gold Gloves. Greinke faced the minimum through 4. Bottom 5, 2 aboard for Carlos Correa. The Astros 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position until Correa delivers, driving in Gurriel. Houston's first hit at home with runners in scoring position since Game 1. It's 2-love Astros after 5. Meanwhile, Scherzer done after the 5th inning. He threw 103 pitches, allowed just the 2 runs, but was able to strand 9 Astros. Meanwhile, Houston had Garrett Cole available, even though he started Game 5. Greinke starting the 7th inning with a 2-0 lead until Rendon crushes the solo shot. It's the first hit Greinke has given up since the 2nd inning, and it's 2-1 Astros. Greinke would then walk Soto and get the hook after that. The Astros turning to Will Harris as opposed to Garrett Cole, facing Howie Kendrick with 1 man aboard.
Soto at first after the homer by Rendon. Kendrick into the opposite corner. That one well hit. Springer looks up, and it's gone! Howie Kendrick has delivered the Nationals a 1-run lead!
Kendrick has been a postseason performer. He becomes just the 6th player in World Series history to hit a go-ahead home run in the 7th inning or later in Game 7. And just like that, the Nationals have put it into gear. The 2-0 deficit erased, and they lead 3-2. Fans back in Washington are absolutely loving it. We head to the 8th inning. Soto with a base hit off Roberto Osuna. That's going to drive in Eaton. Washington now up 6-2 in the 9th inning. Michael Brantley, he represents the final chance for the Houston Astros.
3 balls and 2 strikes the count to Michael Brantley.
The kick in, here it comes. Swing and a miss! Swing and a miss! Swing and a miss! And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books. The celebration is on. The Washington Nationals are the world champions.
What a moment for the Washington Nationals and their entire franchise. This means that the road team has won every game as the Nationals win their first World Series in franchise history. The first team in MLB history to win 5 elimination games in which they trailed. And they were celebrating big time. How about that guy? While Steven Strasburg He is your World Series MVP. So with that, the Nationals are the 8th team to win the World Series by winning games 6 and 7 on the road. The Nats, the 2nd team in MLB history to be as many as 12 games below 500 during the regular season and go on to win the World Series. Afterward, here's A.J. Hinch on why he didn't go to Garrett Cole for Game 7.
I wasn't going to pitch him unless we were going to win the World Series and have a lead. I mean, he was going to help us win. I didn't want him. He was available, and I felt it was a game that he was going to come in had we tied it or taken the lead. He was going to close the game in the 9th after I brought Osuna in had we kept the lead.
Unbelievable. What a moment. What a team. What a team. What a game. Just everybody up and down the lineup, grinding it out. Corbin coming in, throwing those 3 shutout innings. How do you close the door? Clutch base hits. Just the baseball we played over this past month has just been unreal. Just the team, what we've done together and stay together. It's a moment you'll never forget.
This right here, and you guys cured my heart. All right, I'm good. So tonight, I will celebrate with my boys because we are the world champions.
It's great that they're that excited, but Davey, let's take it easy, man. You're not cured all the way. Steven Strasburg, the 3rd pitcher in MLB history to win 5 games in a single postseason. He's the first to do it without giving up a loss. Washington, 10-0 in games started by Strasburg and Max Scherzer during the playoffs. That is the best team record in games started by any duo in a single postseason in MLB history.
The Toronto Raptors had their first throwback game of the season Monday against Orlando. You could really count Wednesday's game as well, because their old coach was in town with the Pistons, Dwayne Casey, the coach of the year that was fired, and then the Raptors went on and won a title. So everyone figured Casey would be bitter, a little salty. Said Casey, there's no saltiness, no pepper, not hot sauce, anything whatsoever. He's a nice guy. Look, he's always smiling. Went 3-0 against his old team last season. Coached Pascal Siakam for the first 2 seasons of his career, and his old player went off in the 3rd quarter. Siakam strips Andre Drummond. Fred VanVleet's pass, not great, but Siakam still makes it count. Siakam averaging a career-high 27.5 points. Still not sure about the Spicy P nickname, but I guess it's stuck now.
At 3, Spicy P drills it from Castlegar. How did he make that shot? Because he's that good, Jack. Wow. He's that good. I know, but it's at the back end of the court.
And this is where I remind you,
10 assists for...
he's on fire.
Can't make it anywhere on the floor. He's waving everybody off. He wants to go one-on-one. Feeling it. He's on fire.
And also, if you yourself have Spicy P, see a doctor. Siakam scores 19 in the quarter, 30 for the game, sat out the 4th. Raptors win their 3rd straight. They're now 4-1. And if you want to compare it to last year, they started last year 5-0 after 5 years. Still to come, a couple of heavyweights rumble in the city of brotherly love. You don't want to miss this tangle. Next. Bolts and Devils against Jersey on the power play. Tampa last season, 5 of 9. Tied at 1 in the first. You want goals? There were a lot in this game. Kevin Shattenkirk spots Alex Killorn. Quick shot. That's another Tampa man advantage marker against the Devils. It's very routine for them. 3-2 Lightning in the second. Will Butcher puts it on net. It goes off Kyle Palmieri and beats Curtis McElhaney. Palmieri has his 2nd of the game. 3rd period, it's 5-4 Devils. Taylor Hall dropped for PK Subban, but it's picked off by Matthew Joseph. And now moments later, Joseph pass goes off Hall's skate and in. Dying seconds. Lightning clinging to a 6-5 lead. Hat trick sends us to overtime. Of course this game needs overtime. Tied at 6. Okay, so just over a minute into the 3-on-3. What a game.
This is a fitting.
Lightning put up 7.
Crazy
Hope you took the over. Wild and Blues, first moment, first period, strange moment, first moment, strange period. Dave Perron's shot hits Alex Petrangelo's skate. Watch what happens with the skate blade. This is insanely terrifying. It's a flying skate blade.
By Jordan Binnington.
Looks like Petrangelo
That's hard to skate.
to get to the bench. I don't know if
You don't have a skate.
So 2 skate blades on the same night.
What is happening? It's as if it's Halloween.
More conscientious of getting something.
Period time at 1.
That's vision from Bernie.
Peron, Petrangelo. Oh, Alex Petrangelo, the captain of your St. Louis Blues. Give him a contract already, St. Louis. That would be your game winner. 2-1 chance.
Go up by 1.
Did you know that going into Wednesday night, only 3 teams remain undefeated in the NBA? Spurs, T-Wolves, and Sixers. And since the T-Wolves and Sixers faced one another, only 2 remained after Wednesday night's action. And I tell you, this one got nasty. Karl Anthony Towns and the T-Wolves running up the Rocky Steps. Are they called the Rocky Steps? They're the actual name for them, right? I don't know. Towns is asked about matching up with Joel Embiid.
Not at all. I mean, it's a game about trying to find a team to win. I mean, I know everyone wants to hype it up. I mean, that's what sells papers, but I ain't in the business of making out money. I'm in the business of getting W's.
Towns and Embiid were the story Wednesday. A chaos breaks out as the 2 All-Stars trying to rip each other's heads off. Embiid and Towns taken to the ground. Ben Simmons grabbing Towns by the neck. He's got him in a headlock.
Embiid is up. He's in front of
Embiid doing some shadow boxing, and he's kicked out. Embiid's hand is bloodied up by the scrap. Both players ejected from the game. The Sixers are the ones who remain undefeated after this one. Embiid.
How much talking was there going on between you two during the game? Was there a lot of that?
Well, first of all, I ain't no so, there was not a lot of talking. I mean, you would kind of happen out of nowhere.
And then Embiid sent out a tweet saying, I was raised around lions and a cat pulled on me tonight. Got his mama giving middle fingers left and right. That's some serious real estate, saying he owns real estate in Towns' head.
This one also crazy. Rockets, Wizards, second quarter. James Harden. James Harden. It's our top 10 ankle breakers coming later. Oh, that was yesterday. Harden, 42 points through 3 quarters. That's right, I said 42 points through 3 quarters. Harden adds to that with a 3 in the 4th. Less than a minute to go. Wizards have 152 points, but trail. Bradley Beal. And 1. He had 46. Hit the free throw. Wizards up 155 to 153. We're still in regulation. Harden misses the dunk. Russell Westbrook cleans it up. Westbrook clutch. Hit his free throw. Rockets up 156 to 155. Again, we're in the 4th quarter. 2 seconds to go. Harden sitting at 59 points. Misses the free throw. Westbrook and Harden force the turnover, seal the victory. 159 points for the Rockets, a franchise record. Harden, 59. Westbrook, triple-double. Again, the final was 159 to 158, and they did not go to overtime.
They missed the all-time score for a game that didn't go to overtime by 3 points. So,
There's a lot of crazy things happening in the world of sports. It's as if it's Halloween time.
And if you listen to Dan O'Toole, Savvy Gambler, take the over.
Why didn't we just do Dan O'Toole, Savvy Gambler?
We kind of just did. The Leafs are coming off a 4-3 overtime loss to the Caps Tuesday night. Morgan Riley, he missed his 4th straight practice on Wednesday. Jake Muzzin, who left Tuesday night's game with the Charlie horse, didn't practice either. The good news? Oh, we got some. John Tavares was taking line rushes for the first time since the broken finger. Now, I can tell you something about hand injuries. I hurt this finger in a bouncy castle like 3 months ago. Didn't go see a doctor, but it still hurts.
So, a lot to unpack there. How did you hurt your hand in a child's bouncy castle?
Diving for a ball.
So you were bouncing in the child's bouncy castle?
As you do at a birthday party.
It's Halloween, and while kids get set to haul bags full of candy in the torrential downpour, NHL players are also getting into the spirit, as you'll see in a brand new segment we've created called Jay and Dan's Spooktacular Halloween Costume Roundup. That was a little eyes wide shut on that full screen there.
I love Eberle. So that's his wife, that's the tooth?
Look at Ebbs.
It's Wilson.
Castaway, who was that? That's Carey Price, as Gomez Adams. That's Marc-Andre Fleury's cousin, It. That's really good.
Right.
Roman Yossi is a pirate. Max Domi, this is unbelievable, as the Joker.
Really well done.
And of course, Gritty is Wonder Woman. Diana, Amazonian Queen. This has been Jay and Dan's Spooktacular Halloween Costume Roundup. Again, very eyes wide shut, very Kubrick there.
You're going to see on trick-or-treating night, which is Halloween, you're going to see a lot of Jokers.
Trick-or-treating.
And you're going to see a lot of Pennywise.
My daughter's going as Wonder Woman. And next year she'll go as Gritty, whether she likes it or not. Dan, if you're still having trouble finding a last-minute costume and you want one based on your favorite NHL personalities, look no further.
Come on down to Discount Sports Apparel Warehouse last-minute NHL costume blowout sale. We have super easy costumes that literally require no thought or effort. Like this Eric Carlson costume that consists of peg leg, hook, and parrot. Or dress like Eugene Melnick by holding a mug that says, "This is fine." Or Mike Babcock with suit, colorful socks, and the overriding sense that you've lost the trust of your players. Or a referee costume that's actually an old prisoner costume, but you can just tell your friends to look at you sideways. We also have a Steve Yzerman costume, but you are not handsome enough to pull it off. We also have a Brad Marchand costume with the Rolling Stones shirt, Gene Simmons prosthetic tongue, and a jar of spit. Gritty, an orange garbage bag, and that's it. Gary Bettman. And the Stan O'Toole costume, complete with child-sized suit, angry mask, and empty liquor bottle. Discount Sports Apparel Warehouse last-minute NHL costume blowout sale. We don't know how we pay our rent either.
That's one of those pop-up stores.
They make a good bank.
Oh, man. You should start a Halloween pop-up store.
You only have to work 1 month a year.
Or 1 day.
It's the Tim Hortons drive-thru. Toronto FC move on to the MLS Cup Final for the 3rd time in 4 years. They beat Atlanta United FC in the Eastern Final. Nick DeLeon scored the go-ahead goal in the 78th minute. Toronto's going to play Seattle for the 3rd time in the MLS Cup Final. Washington Nationals won the World Series for the first time in franchise history. So Expos fans rejoice. They beat the Astros 6-2 in Game 7. Washington becomes the first team to not win a home game and win the World Series. Steven Strasburg, MVP. I think he got a Corvette.
Yes. Yes, he did.
And the Raptors beat the Pistons for their 3rd straight win. Pascal Siakam, 30 points, 19 of them in the 3rd quarter. Didn't even play the 4th. Siakam averaging a career-high 28 points so far this season.
That leads us to producer Tim's favorite segment on the program, the Yannies.
Prove that they could be born.
Alex Pietrangelo hit by the shot. The skate blade goes flying.
And we are in the show me state.
Skate blades flying everywhere.
Now over the line, Ryan Hartman holding on to it.
It's not even funny.
Denied by Jordan Binnington.
I mean, this is funny.
Pietrangelo struggling to get
Ben Simmons rolling up the rim. Roll up the rim. My daughter's asked. It should be coming back soon, right?
Tonight's play executed the pick and roll by Matisse.
I don't know. I'll check on that for you.
Lightning and Devils, Kevin Shattenkirk to Andre Palat. One-timer. Oh, Shatsy.
Roll up the rim's always on the horizon at some point, right? Nick DeLeon from distance.
That was just awesome.
Nick DeLeon picks out the top corner.
That goal sending TFC to the MLS Cup Final.
Colin Sexton sounds like a country singer. But he's not. But he absolutely is not. He plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Andy Green, that could be a country singer. Stopped by Curtis McElhaney.
Defense, but
yeah, there was 100 goals scored in that game.
Yeah, what was 7-6 overtime
7-6.
victory? When we come back, we have a controversy in Winnipeg. There's still unsold tickets to our podcast this Saturday.
The CFL Team Award winners were announced on Wednesday. Blue Bombers running back Andrew Harris, the league's leading rusher, was not among the team nominees for either the Most Outstanding Player or Most Outstanding Canadian. He has 1,300 yards on the ground and 8 total touchdowns. But you might remember this season he was suspended 2 games for testing positive for a banned substance.
A look at all the MLP nominees for each team across the league. Cody Fajardo leading the league in passing yards this season, but the guy that the CFL on TSN panel believes will win the Most Outstanding Player Award in 2019 is Speedy Beat, Brandon Banks of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who set career highs for receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns, and also leads the league in all 3 of those categories.
Breathe it in. Take a good whiff. It's the last week of the CFL's regular season. And then we inch closer to the greatest championship game in all of sports, the Grey Cup.
Dan, in the third quarter of Wednesday's game between the Suns and Warriors, Steph Curry fell hard to the floor and was landed on by Aaron Baines. He was checked out, and Steph Curry has been diagnosed with a broken left hand. No timetable for his return. So Klay Thompson's out for the season. Curry's going to be out for a ton of time with that broken left hand. You're familiar with broken hands. You hurt yours in a bouncy castle.
That's right. Short little story. So we already went through that. That's brutal news.
That's
and it was preventable because who was it? Baines that fell back on him.
It's you know, they had just kind of started to get. They got their first win. You thought maybe they're going to get some momentum. This could be a disaster.
Yeah.
They better hope D'Angelo Russell's really good this year.
It's going to be a ripper. That was my nickname growing up.
Really? Because you tooted all the time?
No, I think I ripped things.
Sounds sketchy. Why you just went around like, I'm Dan.
That's what I did. It was my entire childhood. Bleh, I'm Dan. We have our own suggestions for how to make hockey more fun, and honestly, we feel like they should be implemented.
Oh my God. The ripper because you ripped things.
It was. We can call Sandra O'Toole right now.
What did you rip? Just paper and stuff?
I'll come back with more information. I'll dive deeper.
Okay, well, I want to get back into this, okay, what you were talking about, because these are very reasonable and practical suggestions, our ideas, and I want to show some of them to you. The first one, very obvious, replace all sticks with snakes. All sticks replaced with snakes. Fun for the viewer, and only the viewer.
Next, you got a red line, a blue line, and now a 3-point line. This is a good idea. 3-point shots are now allowed in hockey. That's fun.
I love that. Next, 2 words, square puck. Looks like a brownie.
Next, can we all agree that helmets are boring? But would they be boring if they were helmets that included wigs? The idea is hockey helmets that now include wigs.
I like it a lot. And finally, the most obvious idea to make hockey more fun, bring back Philadelphia Flyers' original mascot, Slapshot. That's right, the one with the aching back.
But it'd be an ongoing thing. Gritty would kill him each home game.
Right.
But he'd always come back to life.
Right. Okay, like Jason in the Friday the 13th movies. You know, he'd be a good mascot because he has a hockey mask, right? Somebody should pick that up. When Me and the Ripper return. Andrei Svechnikov put on a show Tuesday. Best plays inspired by other sports. You're watching Rip Center. This week, Steve Patterson from the Debaters on the Jane Dan podcast. Next week, Steve Gorman, Black Crowes drummer, wrote a great new book called Hard to Handle. He'll be on the podcast. And in between, we're in Saskatoon Friday and Winnipeg Saturday for the live Jane Dan podcast.
Yeah, hard to handle now.
Yeah.
Watch
Great
this.
book. Great book.
That's the first
Giannis.
one. It
This
touches
is that one.
just the net.
Yikes.
Follows it up with
I'll tell you what.
another
I
miss.
saw
2
him
straight.
2 hours
reigning MVP.
Their shooting coach.
I knew this was going to be the highlight of the night.
The box here.
Atlanta.
Nick DeLeon, no way through as he's turned around. And DeLeon from distance.
Nick
my
DeLeon.
goodness. Nick DeLeon picks
game winner. There's Luke Wildman on the
Subbed into the game and he scores.
The game winner for TFC, sending them to the MLS final against the Seattle Sounders for the third time in the last 4 seasons.
And that's the finals November 10th on TSN.
On TSN, that's right. It's Sunday.
Yep.
Dan, all the You Blew It items here are about you. During your top 10 introduction, you listed a bunch of NHLers with connections to lacrosse and did not mention John Tavares.
Yeah.
Months ago, when you hurt your hand in a bouncy castle, you had a chance to go see a doctor. You didn't. You blew it there. And finally, Andrew Zwarich, who compiles this list, is very disgusted that you try to create a fake nickname, The Ripper, based on a supposed childhood need to rip things.
We'll have the answer to that once my mom checks her texts.
That's what I want to do. You know, we want to bring a title back to DC. We want to bring a title back to DC.